Welcome back to the Monday Morning Point Guard podcast. On today's episode, going to be discussing some of my favorite memories from Kobe Bryant's career as well as his impact on my life. If you do like the video, please consider giving us a like as well as subscribing for weekly content. And feel free to share some of your favorite memories either in the comments section or with us on Twitter. We'd love to hear them. Also, if you want to check out the episode uninterrupted, the full episode, it is up on Spotify, so check us out there. I want to spend some time this week to pay my respects to my favorite basketball player of all time, Kobe Bryant. Continued thoughts and prayers to the Bryant family, as well as the Altobelli family, Mauser, Chester, and Zobayan families. And anytime somebody as famous as Kobe Bryant passes away, it's important to remember and honor the other families that were involved in that tragedy. So where to even begin here? I really don't want to get into the all-time rank stuff where he ranks against certain players all time. I'm just going to keep it to memories of him and as well as his impact on my life. I really can't talk about Kobe without getting into how I got into basketball in the first place. So I was at the age, when I was born, I pretty much missed the whole Bulls Jordan run. My earliest memory of professional basketball was watching the '98 finals and Jordan hitting that game winner against Utah. But I was far too young to really appreciate and understand the moment there. I was basically a toddler, so it really didn't resonate with me the way that it should have. So the next great team in line was the Kobe Shaq Lakers. And we didn't have a professional basketball team where I grew up. So anytime basketball was on TV, it was likely going to be the Lakers. We didn't have a local broadcast of some team. There just wasn't a team close enough to us. Also, I don't really know that the local broadcasts were a thing back in the early 2000s. They might have been, but again, we didn't have them where I grew up. And as a kid, obviously, you're drawn more to the huge dunks and the flashy plays. That's far more exciting than anything else basketball had to offer. So I was immediately drawn to that team. Kids just don't appreciate kind of the beauty in like a team like the Spurs or something. And it's only natural that they're going to be more drawn to the flashy plays and the big dunks. So obviously, immediately drawn in by the domination and thunderous dunks of Shaq and the acrobatic and flashy plays of the young Froby, and watching them, basketball quickly became my favorite sport and led me to be a huge fan of the NBA. That's a fandom I'm going to carry with me for the rest of my life. I mentioned the style that he played with really drew me in at a young age, but as I began to grow older and my understanding of the game increased with it, other things began to seem more important, and his game kind of evolved along with that. I really began to appreciate his skill, and as he aged and continued to evolve, into his mid and late 20s, he could still get up and dunk on people, but he no longer had to, like the younger version of him. He developed the post game and the footwork, and particularly with the footwork, that's something that we really haven't seen matched and has remained unparalleled to this day. And you could see the level of dedication he put into basketball every year. It seemed like he came back with a new wrinkle, something added to his game. Even beyond that, as he continued to age, his body began to betray him. He still gutted it out, showing tremendous hard work in his rehab and grit, powering through the compounding injuries. Here's just a few of my favorite moments here. Obviously, we have the 2000 finals, the game 4, where he completely took over when Shaq fouled out. His duel with Iverson on the perimeter in the 2001 finals. I had a bit of a rough patch with Kobe after the Shaq breakup, but as I've gotten older, I've kind of began to appreciate kind of his perspective on that, Kobe's perspective. With how hard he was working, it was just never going to work with a player like Shaq, somebody who's never been accused of being a hard worker paired with a lunatic hard worker like Kobe Bryant. That was just a pair that was never going to work. Another memory, him tearing through the league in 2007, scoring 50 points in 4 straight games. He was just on a different level at that stage. 2008, coming into the Redeem team, really taking on the leadership role and bringing gold back to the United States. That was really special. I really enjoyed that. 2009, watching the finals, watching him just pick apart Michael Pietras. He was known as kind of like a really great perimeter defender. That's in the name not too many will know. He's going to be one that's lost to time. But he was known as a really good defender and really prided himself on that end. But Kobe just really picked him apart in that series. Again, another Orlando memory, Matt Barnes shoving the ball in Kobe's face, acting like he was going to throw it at him. And Kobe didn't even blink. That was a really special memory. When Kobe dislocated his finger, didn't even make a face, didn't grimace at all, just walked straight over to the trainer. And while he popped it back into place, and you wouldn't have thought anything was going on, just judging by his face. Kobe nailing 2 free throws after rupturing the Achilles, tears in his eyes because he knew something was very wrong, but he still went up to the free throw line, buried those 2 free throws, walked off the court under his own power. Really special. Kobe's last season in the league, my dad took me to go see a game up in Milwaukee. I'd never seen him play live, so that was really special. And I remember at the time I was really worried that he wasn't going to play. I think it was on a back-to-back on a road trip, but he vowed to play every road game that year, or every last road game that year, and that was the last time they were in Milwaukee. So I really respect him for honoring that and getting the chance to see him. Obviously, you've got the last game, the 60-point last game. It's still just insane. It was such a special memory, such a special moment. Nobody in the building could believe what they were witnessing, and me watching on TV, I couldn't believe what I was witnessing either. And just all the game winners, it just seemed like anytime there was a clutch shot to be made, Kobe was there and he was going to hit it. But even more than the highlights and the game winners, it's really the lessons that he taught us. He's had such a profound impact on so many of our lives. And for me, no one has had a bigger impact on my life that I haven't ever met. Obviously, the lessons of hard work and dedication to your craft, but beyond that, he never cheated us as fans. He always gave us his best effort. The perseverance and loyalty he showed in the later years was really special. The Lakers were terrible down the stretch of his career, and he could have easily pouted or demanded a trade, thrown everyone under the bus, retired early, but he didn't. He stuck around for 20 years and really gutted it out those last 3 years, even though his body had completely betrayed him at that point. On that note, he played through countless injuries, torn ligaments in his wrist, just dislocated fingers, all bone spurs, everything. And he never complained through his rehab or while he was playing through those injuries. Just judging from his face and his demeanor, you would have never known he was hurt. He was taking the same outlook into his life after basketball, and it's just such a shame we won't get to see what he'll be able to accomplish in those years after he's done playing. I'm just very thankful for all the lessons, he's taught us and introducing me and pushing the sport I love so much forward.